Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Superman and Lois Season 4. And this is going to be my trailer breakdown for episode 7 for this season, the fourth last episode ever for Superman and Lois. This episode otherwise entitled A Regular Guy. But of course, before we get into anything else, let's watch the trailer.
Your father has been keeping this a secret his whole life.
Too many people are getting suspicious. We gotta put the genie back in the bottle before it's too late.
You're back already?
I just went to the parking lot. The secret is everything. It's the only thing that gives us a chance at a normal life.
This life is hardly normal.
So last episode was a really interesting one in regards to the progression or decline. I don't know which one I guess it's a mix of both in regards to this Lex Luthor. Obviously, like his emotions and stuff and everything not going great. All that stuff with his daughter, and he's not really got the upper hand on Superman or Clark Kent or Kal-El or Lois Lane now. He did before, now not so much. Sure, killed Lois's dad. Well, sent the order to kill Lois's dad, but yeah, it doesn't really have the upper hand now, but I don't know if that's going to last that long. I don't think Lex Luthor is going to stay down for too long. It doesn't necessarily mean he gets a ridiculous upper hand, but he definitely gets whether it's a bit of payback or just makes, tries to meet the middle ground. But throughout last episode, there was concerns or of Clark sort of picking up that people knew that he was Superman, and that's going to carry on into this episode based off the trailer. But yeah, so that's a big thing that a lot of people think that we're leading up to in the series finale, that Clark does reveal his identity. I don't think it's going to be to the world. I think it's just going to be more open in Smallville, but we could be proven wrong. That's a wait and see. But we will quickly go over the synopsis or description for this episode before we jump into the trailer breakdown. But before that, throughout the video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions and everything we go over in this video. Always curious to where you guys are thinking, whether it's just opinions or theories and predictions, whatever, let me know. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, looking forward to this episode, drop a like, takes 2 seconds. After some concerning interactions in town, Clark is determined to protect the secret that he's Superman, a task complicated by Jonathan and Jordan. Lois considers the future of the Gazette after Chrissy proposes something drastic. Now, we start off the trailer by hearing and also seeing Clark and Lois talking about the secret of Superman and how they've really been able to keep that a secret for the most part from the general public up until now, outside of some small cases like close friends and family, obviously like we've seen throughout the show, like Lana Lang knowing and stuff like that, Chrissy knowing, or someone like Kyle when Clark had no choice but to reveal he was Superman, considering the circumstances at the time, and then someone like General Lane, Lucy Lane, close family and friends. And this lines up with what we read in the synopsis, where it does mention Clark being determined to protect the secret that he's Superman, with us seeing Chuck in the trailer, the first person to bring up that he knew that Clark was Superman after witnessing the events in downtown Smallville. And when it talks about Clark being determined to protecting that secret, it will be interesting to see if that's just from the world and not necessarily Smallville, or it's more of like a domino situation. Well, this person knows in Smallville and that person knows in Smallville, and then they tell that secret to a person in the town over, and it just gets closer and closer to somewhere like Metropolis, where then all of a sudden it becomes this big breaking news story. But I think the big thing will be when more and more people that we know weren't there in downtown Smallville, when, Doomsday brought back Superman's lifeless body, but are from Smallville, start to look at Clark funny and go, what's going on there? As if they've been told through the grapevine that, like, hey, did you know that Clark Kent is Superman? Yeah, Clark Kent, he wears a cape, he can fly. So I don't know if that will be the case. It's more maybe just the people that we know saw Superman dead and the Kent family reacting the way they did, like Chuck, like the lady from last episode, like the young teenage girl that hangs out with Jordan and Jonathan. I'm forgetting their names off the top of my head at the moment, but just that group might be the concern there. And it might be just Clark talking to them and hoping that they do keep it a secret, just because it's, it's important that remains the case. Like, there's always the thing, like in a small town, nothing stays a secret. Like that's like a very cliche thing. In a big city, something can easily stay secret. In a small town where everyone knows each other and everyone talks to each other, it can sometimes be hard to keep a secret, especially a fairly big secret that, that dude, Clark Kent, been here since he was a kid. Yeah, he can fly, he's Superman, he's an alien. But we do see an example of Clark having to balance Superman and his normal life, even when in public at the time of, having to sort of swap between the two personas. When he does Superman things at an airport, I don't know if he's like bringing down a plane. You just see him sort of leaving from an airport, like flying away. But he seems to be at the general store at the time that he leaves, saying he was just outside in the car park. But it's the girl who knows that he is Superman who was giving him weird looks last episode, and of course talked to Jordan and Jonathan about it. So he's leaving, I guess, to her. She knows, and she probably like looks at the TV and tracks it all in real time, and just like, okay, now that might be confirmation. Now I was wondering when I was watching, I was like, should he be doing Superman things? Like, would he be the one that should fly to the airport there and do that? Like, shouldn't Jonathan be doing that? But as the synopsis does say, and that the trailer also sort of indicates, keeping the secret of Superman isn't made easier by Jordan and Jonathan having powers, I guess specifically of lately Jonathan, though based off the end of last episode, maybe Jordan gets back into the swing of things and using his powers to help people. And just them using those powers constantly to help people, not just, I guess, in Smallville or in America, but around the world as well, and maybe having to quickly leave something to go do that, and they might be caught. Even if they think they're in the clear, someone could be walking around the corner as soon as they fly away or speed away or whatever it might be. So I'm wondering, would Clark ban them from helping just for the meantime until things possibly quieten down a bit? Or is it just a case of he decides to help when seeing some issues on the TV screen because Jordan and Jonathan might be busy? I'm not too sure. Maybe they're at the Fortress of Solitude training at the time. I'm not too sure. It could be either way, I guess. I'm not too sure. But we do have an iconic Superman shirt rip in downtown Smallville. Now, I would assume, and I think I'm right when I say this, and I think most people would agree with this, but I would assume this is when he goes to the airport, as he is wearing the same coat and shirt as he is inside the store when pretending like he was just outside. And I think this is actually in the area in downtown Smallville. I think the shop's just behind him. But it's not the same shirt rip we had in the mid-season trailer we got, like 2.5 weeks ago, whatever it is. That is from a different scenario. It looks like he's in a different area as well from memory. I did see people wondering if this was an alternate shot or something, but like I think they're from... Could be the same episode. It could happen later this episode, but it's not the same scenario, if that makes sense. And this plays into that thing I was talking about before with Jordan and Jonathan, if they fly away, does someone see them? I do wonder if someone sees him. I do wonder if that happens in this scenario, just because he is in downtown Smallville. Like, surely someone's there, but maybe he makes sure that the coast is clear. Now, with this episode, there is an interesting thing that is not hinted at all in the trailer, but you might have noticed this. I didn't actually notice it until I was making the video. I was like, hold on, this trailer shows nothing. It shows like 2 scenes. Yeah, the trailer shows nothing. And this episode is the one that's believed to be the episode where we have Jimmy Olsen. Now, it could be episode 8. It could be episode 8, but we know that the actor was present when they were filming this episode, but he could be in episode 8. So the thing that supports him being in this episode, without there actually being anything to support him like visually, is the fact that we only see like 2 scenes in this, or maybe 3 if you include the bit where Chuck comes inside the diner. There's like nothing from this episode. Like collectively, we're seeing maybe like 2 to like 2.25 scenes that maybe tally up to like 4 minutes of the episode. We're seeing nothing. So there's a lot that's actually being hidden from this trailer, and a lot of that could be because we're going to see Jimmy Olsen. I just do wonder if he is in this episode, if it is all present day or it's a mixture of flashbacks. Because I think we are going to see him in present day. I think that's actually been confirmed by the showrunners when they're talking about him like a couple of months back. But I don't think they confirmed flashbacks. By the way in which they talked about the character, it sounded like we're going to get a comparison to what he was like when he was working at the Daily Planet with Lois and Clark compared to what he's like now and what he's doing now. I don't know if he's still working at the Daily Planet. I think he might be based off what was said, but I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. But we should expect him in this episode, but if it is in this episode, then it's episode 8. But episode 7 was always the one, even before like we got any sort of like trailer or anything like that. Episode 7 was the one that people were like, yeah, that's the episode that he's showing up in. But we did get some promo images. There's nothing interesting here, so I'll just quickly show them. It seems to be that scene where they're talking about like keeping the secret. So we see Lois here with her arms crossed. It seems to be a family dinner. The family sitting down, obviously talking about keeping the secret. Jordan and Jonathan standing up. We did see a similar shot to this in the trailer. Clark and Lois sitting together, and then it's actually a couple of different scenes, I guess, because we do see Clark in a different shirt. It's actually the same shirt he's wearing when he goes to the shop and then goes to save the plane and stuff. But we do have this one here. I did see people wondering if they're building a baby cot. I think it's a bed. Is it a baby? Actually, I know what this is. Okay, I just realized what this was because I just remember that this the set photos that came out for this episode. So one little batch of set photos that came out, one of the few things of set photos we got for this season was from episode 7. And this is probably a spoiler, but it's with a character that maybe a lot of people don't care about. But Chrissy is pregnant in this episode, I'm pretty sure. Now, this heavily indicates, as you'd expect, there's a time jump. Now, it's just because Chrissy wasn't visibly pregnant last time we saw her, and it hasn't been long since that period there. So I do wonder if we jump ahead like a month or something between episode 6 and episode 7, which maybe allows time for Lex Luthor to sort of marinate in what he's planning in the background, as well as Jordan and Jonathan to develop a bit more in regards to, well, Jordan getting back to used to using his powers and Jonathan just getting used to using them more. So maybe that explains why Chrissy is more visibly pregnant when we see her. But there were set photos showing her visibly pregnant, and I think that's what they're building. They're building a baby cot. I was wondering, I thought it was a baby cot, and I was like, no, it's a bed. Lois isn't having a baby. And I was like, oh no, Chrissy is. That's right. Just remembered it right now. So yeah, that's what she's building here, funnily enough. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like and it shows support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions and everything we're going over this video. Just overall expectations, theories, predictions, let me know in the comment section down below for this episode. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.